What's up, Pirates? Wraith and Jim here with AwakenedTCG, and today we have a special guest, Fupid. He is our blue expert. He's going to be helping us look over these cards and getting his opinion on them as well. Without further ado, this is the third video in this series. We're going to go right into the blue cards. Let's go.
So first up here, we're going to have our leader for the blue this set. It's going to be Sakazuki. He's going to be a black and blue leader, just like Rebecca, except this one's going to be 4 life, and he can actually attack with some strong effects here. So his first effect is going to be activate main once per turn. You can discard a card from your hand and draw 1 card. So this is just a free cycle constantly. You can always do this for free. And then, when attacking, up to one of your opponent's characters gets -1 to their cost during this turn. No cost on this as well. So I know Fupid is planning to play this leader. Let's hear your thoughts.
I mean, just initial thought is black manipulates cost a lot, and then blue has a lot of really dumb bottom deck effects, like Mihawk or 3K Worlds or any of that stuff that's out now. So, like the out of range stuff, like if somebody drops a 6 Dawn something, like I don't know, what's a 6 Dawn, like a 6/7 or something like that. You can just swing with leader at whatever you're playing against, and then just 3,000 worlds it for free. Or if they drop an 8 Dawn, like a Katakuri or something along the lines of that, you can literally just swing for free and then Mihawk it. Becomes Mihawk range. So the effect, I mean, it's no Dawn investment. It's completely free. You could just swing, get a swing in, get a counter out of their hand, or they can take it, and then like anything can go within range of your really stupid bottom deck effects that are not counterable.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I think this combo, because the bottom deck effects are always tied to a cost, right? The cost of the character. I feel like it goes hand in hand, right? We see some leaders where it's like, oh, the combos don't really mesh, like a red and black deck, right? Like a Garp, because like minus power, minus cost doesn't really mesh. Well, this deck right here definitely has that synergy, and so I'm really excited to see what this leader is going to do. Jay, what are your thoughts?
I completely agree. Bottom deck effects are the best removal in the game. There's no doubt about it. Cards like Borsalino, 5-cost Marco, these can just negate KO effects pretty much, while bottom deck effects are going to completely own them. So this Sakazuki deck will be very good against black and probably good against red, what I'm assuming. But anyways, 2 great abilities on the leader. Both cost you absolutely nothing. This leader is going to be great. Anyway, let's get on to the next card here. We're going to have Isho, this time in blue. He's going to be a 6/6 with 1k counter, kind of a low stat line. But when played, up to one of your opponent's cost 7 or less characters cannot attack till the start of its next turn. Now, if you're playing this in Sakazuki, obviously you minus cost at all. This is probably just going to hit anything on the board up to 10. But I don't know if I love it. It's not like it even rests it. It just can't attack. And it's only a 6k for 6. I don't know why they gave it such low power.
Yeah, the power is very low for such a high Dawn investment. I feel like in a deck like Sakazuki, definitely don't want to see something like this, you know, without no bottom deck effect or I mean, it saves you on 1 attack, but the uses for this are limited compared to what the deck can bring.
Yeah, I wouldn't slot it in. I mean, there's probably some tech here and there, but yeah, 6/6, 1k. It's like when placed, it's a 7 or less. I don't know. I feel like it doesn't really affect like rush decks or anything like that. Like they're just gonna send Rush Luffy at you or the new NL card or anything like that, and it's just, I don't know. A 6/6 body ain't too big of a body to be worried about either.
No, there should have to be like a 2k counter to be good. I really don't know why you'd ever play this.
Yeah, at the very least, right?
Anyways, let us go on to our next card. This one's going to be very strong. It's going to be our blue SR of the set. It's going to be Ulti, and she's going to be a 4/5 with 1k counter, and when played, if your leader is multicolor, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck and add any one of them to your hand. There's no restrictions. Then you can rearrange them on the bottom or top of your deck. Or top. So you look at your top 3, you grab the one you want, and you know what you're drawing for the next 2 turns. This card is absolutely insane. And I think this might just be a staple in every multicolored blue deck.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. The 4 of most broken searchability to date, and the fact that you know reorder it on top or bottom, getting the choice there to be able to pick your next 2 draws if you know it's something you need is just it's insane card. Even the stat line's good, has a 1K counter. Nothing wrong with this card here. This is a S tier card. I'm running it every time. 4 of.
Yeah, it's really strong. Spada, for example, in a lot of blue decks is really good, specifically because you can rearrange at the top or the bottom. And even just playing this on a 4 Dawn turn, dropping it and seeing stuff you don't want, you can grab something that's like mediocre, put the 2 at the bottom, and then use a leader effect to cycle your hand again. I like, there's no way you don't run more than max, like just 4 every single turn, regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah, this card's busted. I actually can't believe they printed it, but alt art's going to go crazy in price, so get it while you can. Next up, we're going to have probably the coolest card of the set. It's going to be John Giant, everybody's favorite character. He's going to be an 8-cost vanilla with the Navy and Giant archetype. I don't think we have much to say about that. It's a big body in blue, which blue struggled with prior, but nowadays, with stuff like 10-cost Kaido, I don't really think they have that problem anymore.
Yep, bait drop vanilla.
Next up, we'll have Stainless. He's going to be a Navy 4/5 with 1000 counter. And activate main, you can discard 1 card from your hand and rest him. Then you can place up to 1 character with the cost of 2 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. So, I have mixed feelings here. That it's the same thing as the 5-cost Garp in black. Not only do you have to discard a card from hand, you have to rest it at the same time, and that only puts a 2 or less at the bottom, which means it's basically requiring you to also have the cost reduction card on board. So, I'm not a huge fan. What do you guys think?
Personally, I don't see it ever being a 4 of, but I could see like a one tech card. I don't know if Red is still going to be running Robins as far as like Whitebeard goes. And then I know Law and some Zoros be running Vista on 3, on turn 2 for 3 Dawn. This card can like, swing with leader, make the card a 2-cost, play this on curve, and then you get that bottom decked, right? And so you just clear up the whole board. Could be okay. But then again, it's rested, so then your opponent's going to attack at it, and then now you're either coming out of hand again to discard more cards to protect it, or just let it go and all you did was kill the 3K. So yeah, maybe a little too lackluster. Maybe if it was a 6K.
But yeah, running maybe like a one of or 2 of in a deck is like a little tech card or something like that on turn. It's like, why not? I mean, it's a 3 or less sitting to the bottom of the deck, basically on curve.
It's a 2, but in Sakazuki, technically a 3. But...
yeah, it's a 3. They're playing in Sakazuki. It's a 3 or less.
Yeah, but I'd honestly like it better as a 4/6 with no counter, but
yeah,
it's kind of...
that's not what we got.
It's not... yeah, I mean, we'll take all the bottom deck effects we can, but I don't think this is one of the ones we're going to be picking up.
Definitely put that one at the end.
Next up, we've got Dalmatian. He's going to be another 4/5 with the 1K counter. This time on KO, you're going to draw 1 card and then place 1 card from your hand to the bottom of your deck. So a 4/5 on KO, he cycles a card. This card is certified ass cheeks.
Yeah, I feel like, again, maybe if it was like a 4/6 with no counter, I think these smaller bodies definitely don't have a place in decks because of, there's a small body and then the effects are subpar. So
or if it was
I don't really like it too much.
A draw 2, send 1 back. I don't know why it's just a cycle on KO. This card is so weak.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. Yeah, draw 1 card, place 1 card at the bottom of your deck. That's really weird.
Very weak. And if it gets bottom decked or anything like that, it's not even going to go off. I really dislike this card. Next up, we'll have Basil Hawkins. This is a very good card. Another 4/5 with a 1K counter. Once again, this time this one has blocker, and when blocking, if you have 3 or less cards in hand, not only do you draw 1, this character also gains 1,000 power. So say they swing for 5, you have 3 cards in hand. This is basically a free block plus a draw. Very strong, especially in black when you're going to be discarding stuff out of hand a lot of the time. He'll be able to get you back up while defending at the same time.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's like Borsalino, except you get to draw a card if you have 3 or less. I mean,
Yeah.
why not?
Also, they can get rid of it, like KO it before, if they have KO effects before it gets the one blocking
Block off. Yeah.
effect off. So,
Mm-hmm.
but still, I think this card's great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Definitely. Decent. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a blocker too, so it's like. Uh,
I mean, you're threatening you have to remove it, or I'm gonna draw a card if I have 3 or less. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
basically what it is.
Also, underrated, it is in the Beast Pirates, which is searchable since OP04. So if you want to play some Purple Kaido, now's the time. Next up, we've got Bastille. He's a 5 cost, 6,000 power with 1k counter, and if you attach a Dawn, bring him to 7k, which is always good when attacking. Place up to 1 character with a cost of 2 or less on the bottom of the owner's deck. This seems solid, honestly.
Definitely better than the 4-drop bottom deck of 2 or less.
Completely agree.
Yeah, so we have 6k body for 5 down, which isn't too bad. I feel like the 4/5s are a lot worse than the 5/6s. But yeah, I mean, you can use this effect over and over, and if you play this on curve and it doesn't get touched, you can combo with not only your leader ability but with other cards to minus cost. Then you can get off a pretty big body off the board with this. So I like it. It's a sticky card that would just net you a lot of advantage if played correctly and if your opponent doesn't deal with it.
And plus, you're getting if you're Dawn times winning it, you're getting a 7k swing into leader or wherever you're swinging into for it as well. So it's not nearly as bad as the rest a card bottom deck a card. I like this one a lot better. You'd probably run this one rather than the other one.
All right, and up next we have 8T. I don't think that's the correct translation. It's definitely Hacha. That is his name. But he's a 6/7 with no counter. And if you attach 1 Dawn when he attacks, you can return up to 1 character with the cost of 3 or less to the owner's hand. This one's to hand, and it's when attacking with a 6k or 6 cost, 7k body, no counter. I don't like this card.
Yeah, I feel like it's too much of a Dawn investment. Yeah, I wouldn't run this.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree.
Yeah, not good, not Navy, so we're not searching it. Definitely not playing it. Next up, we got Hina, a 3/4 with 1k counter and the Navy archetype. When played, if you have 5 or less cards, she's just going to draw you 1. No keyword, just a 3/4, draw 1, pretty much.
I think it's decent. It's decent.
Yeah,
especially going first, playing it on curve, right? You draw to 6. You draw to 6 on turn 2, and then you play this. You go to 5. You draw 1.
So does it? Because you're gonna draw 1, right?
Yeah, so you go to 6.
You'll go to 6,
and then you play it, and you're at 5.
It's like love.
Oh no,
like
you're right. You are right. You are right.
You
Yeah.
love.
So,
It counts
so
as
on
3.
curve, on curve,
you
this
got it.
card's pretty good. But if you're ever playing it off curve and you have to have the threshold of 5 cards or less, then it becomes a little worse. But maybe you can rock with like 2 of maybe in a deck. It's decent.
It could help you dig. I mean, it's not terrible late game, but definitely better on curve.
For sure.
Okay. Next up here, we've got our SR. We covered this in one of our previous videos. Very nice card, and if you haven't seen the alt art, amazing alt art. Anyways, this is going to be Borsalino. He's a 7 cost, 8,000 power character, another big body for blue, and when played, he's just going to place a 4 or less on the bottom of the deck, nothing else. I like this card. It's a 5 always in Sakazuki. It's a big body. Honestly, I think it's good.
Yeah, definitely one of the better SRs for sure. Yeah, you run. I see myself running two of maybe in a deck, 3 of potentially in a Sakazuki deck. Yeah, I like this card.
Yeah, it's a really good tempo swing too, placing a 4 or less to the bottom of the deck as well, and then getting an 8k body that you can use to swing into stuff. It's honestly a really good card.
Yeah, like if I'm just being goofy, like math-wise, let's just pretend it's always a 5 because of our leader. This is basic. 3,000 worlds is 4 Dawn, so then we're paying 3 for an AK body. I will take that.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is very strong. Anyways, next up, we've got Maynard. Very cool card. He's going to be your 2/2 blocker with the Navy tag so you can search it. Not the worst, not the best. And next up, we've got Mozambia. He's a 1 cost, 2k power with 1000 counter. And during your turn, once per turn, whenever you draw a card outside of your usual draw in the draw phase, this character is going to get 2000 power for this turn.
Trash. I don't like it.
This card is so bad, dude.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, technically speaking,
No,
you
it's
use
garbage.
Sakazuki's ability, and then it
Dude.
instantly goes
wait.
for 4.
I didn't even think about that. True,
Yeah,
true.
it's technically a 1 for 4.
This
You
is
just use it
always
every
a
turn.
1/4 in Sakazuki.
But it's never swinging at leader unless you attach another Don on top of that. I don't like it.
All right, here's the deal. You play Secret Kaido, boom. This thing's pumped by 4. The
No,
AK,
once
yeah,
per
by
turn.
AK.
once per turn.
Oh, it's once. This
Yeah,
card
it's once per
sucks,
turn.
dude.
Garbage, bro.
This
Go
card
next, go
sucks.
next. I don't like it. I don't like it.
All right, Monkey D Garp. He's gonna be a 3/3 2K Navy tag, so he is searchable 2K. And when played, he's gonna draw 2 and put 2 at the bottom of your deck. So he's like a Kaya for 3, and he's a Navy searchable. I could see people running this, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't.
Yeah, I just feel like depending on how well your curves are and how well the deck flows, whether or not this card isn't heated, that's what it comes down to.
Mhm. It is a 2K though. Like if it wants to run more 2Ks, I guess it's not bad for a hand cycler and a 2K. Just to
Yeah.
use it.
Definitely searchable 2K that because you're always gonna run brand new in these decks, I'm assuming.
True.
Anyways,
Possibly
next up we've got our X Drake. He is a 5 cost, 6000 power with 1000 counter. He's gonna have blocker, a usual 5/6 blocker. And when he's played, you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck, put them in any order, and put them on the top or bottom. So he is literally 3 cost Doflamingo for 5.
Yeah, decent. It was about time we saw a bigger card where you can rearrange, right? Because I think the 3-drop is the highest, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, you would be correct.
This card, yeah, I like it. I could run a couple. I'm not really sure what the Sakazuki decks are looking like right now, because I mean, obviously we just got the cards released, but it seems decent. It's
He's got
5
the
drops.
Navy tag as well.
Yeah, right. So he's searchable and you can rearrange. I like him.
Yeah, it seems like a good card. Not a
Yeah.
great card, a good card.
Oh yeah, he's good. I mean, I could see people running him.
Mhm.
Anyways, next up we'll have X Barusu. He is a 2 cost, 2000 power with 1000 counter, and when you play him, you can place 1 character other than this character on the bottom of the deck and draw a card. That is definitely not the right translation. That would be completely broken. I'm pretty sure it's one of your characters on the bottom of the deck and draw 1 card. So, I mean, you put a 1 cost that you don't care about at the bottom and draw a card for 2. I don't think it's terrible, but he's only a 2K body.
You could if you run 4 of the 2K 3-drop counters where you cycle your deck, you can send that to the bottom of the deck. Maybe run like 1 or 2 of this just in case you ever do cycle. You have that option, but other than that, I think he's okay. Not good, not great, but okay.
Yeah, okay card.
He's
Not
also
excited.
Yeah, he's also former Navy, so he's actually not searchable like Tenkowski's in.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter with Ulti though.
True. I don't know if I'd ever pick this on my top 3. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I'm picking another card and sending this shit to the bottom.
Yeah, this guy could go chill at the bottom.
Yeah, literally.
With that 1 drop we were looking at. Anyways, next one, we're going to have a 2 cost event with the Navy tag, and it's going to be during your main phase. You can give 3000 power to one of your characters or leader during this turn. So this already pays for itself and more, but that's not all. And then after that, you can put up to 1 character with the cost of 2 or less on the bottom of its owner's deck. Now, it also has a trigger, if this wasn't enough, and you can return 1 character with the cost of 3 or less to the owner's hand for the trigger. This card is absolutely broken. I don't know why it gives you plus 3k on top of the 2 cost bottom deck.
Yeah, I definitely see. Here's the thing. It's like you can make that bottom deck a 3 cost if you swing with your leader first. So I mean, it gives it that extra buff after already giving you 3k for 2 Dawn investment. I don't know why they printed this card. It's one of those where it's like, what?
Yeah, it's gonna be really strong because it'll get rid of weenie blockers. You can just pop it on your leader or maybe like some other stuff, maybe like a 1 for 3 or a 2 for 4, something like that, and then just overswing, throw a weenie blocker to the bottom, and then big swing with some other stuff. Like, yeah, it's. I mean, just it being 2 power for 3k, like you're getting your Dom back. It's really strong. It's a really strong card.
I genuinely don't understand. Like, you have a 10 cost Kuzan on board. This is sending like 8 or lesses to the bottom for free while giving you 3k. Like, I would run Meteor Volcano, which is the same exact cost event in black, which only reads main phase KO a 1 cost unit in black. I get it, it's in black, so obviously that's the one that's supposed to reduce cost, but still, just the power creep here is insane. And that's a KO. This is a bottom deck for 2. Just ridiculous. This card is going to be a 4 of stable every single time. Anyways, next up, we have probably my most anticipated card of this set. This is going to be Life is Too Much. Pretty sure that's a bad translation. He says something more along the lines of like life is too precious or something like that. Anyway, this is going to be an 8 cost blue event. Yes, 8 cost. And its effect is you can play it and all characters with cost 3 or less go to the bottom of its owner's deck. Yours and your opponent's. So this is like a double board wipe. Obviously, if you have cost reduction, more of their stuff will go to the bottom if it costs more. Anyways, that's not all. After that, each player discards their hand, so they have 5 cards in their hand. This also applies to you. But the reason I love this card is not only because it's a board wipe, but also it absolutely destroys Whitebeard. These Whitebeard players always have like 11 cards around this time they're going to want to play an 8 cost card. You can literally say, discard 6. I don't even care about the bottom deck. I can play 8 and discard 6 cards from your hand. That is insane.
Yeah, this card is completely broken. On curve they go 7 Dawn for ace, give them 2 good value plays, but then boom, you're on curve for 8 and you pop this, and now they can't defend. They're at 0 life. It's a game changer, and these blue events that they printed are absolutely insane.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. It's just, I mean, yeah, they don't even have to have anything you want a bottom deck against some decks with big hand sizes. You just go, cool, 8 cost, whatever, discard your hand, and then I'm probably discarding like 1 or 2 cards as well, but you're discarding 6 or 7. Like, I mean, that's
or none.
That's like it's like an Isho on crack. It's like, how many cards do you have in your hand? 15? Cool, let me just remove everything. Like, that's fine. Go have fun.
Yeah. Not to mention if you have like a 10 cost Kuzan, this just bottom decks their whole board, and there's nothing in the game that can counter that. Anyways, disgusting. Now on to our last card, ending off on not a very exciting note, but it is a cool art nonetheless. This is going to be a 5 cost event, and during your main phase, if your leader is multicolored, you draw a card. Not sure why they restricted that for 5 Dawn, but after that, return up to 1 character with cost 5 or less to its owner's hand. And then the trigger is if your leader is multicolored, draw 2 cards. So Nami cannot run this, sadly.
But it is still a good card, regardless if Nami can run it or not. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Sakazuki, the real blue meta leader
Sakazuki
for
is
05.
not running this card, bro. This thing sucks, dude.
No, this card's not bad. Especially like, okay, what else would you play for 5 Dawn that Sakazuki would play?
Shit, I play 3,000 Worlds for 4 Dawn.
Yeah, but you don't get a draw.
Okay, I will draw. Dude, it's to hand. This card sucks.
Yeah, it is back to hand. There's a lot of like on play effects that you don't want to send back like to hand, so they could just play it again. So it's kind of like.
But here's the thing: it's like, okay, you have 1 extra Dawn, you swing 6 at leader.
Okay, 5 Dawn is a lot to not get any tempo on board, so it better be a good ass effect. If all I'm doing is drawing a card and bottom decking a 5 or less, which is my best case scenario, I get it's in Sakazuki, it could be more, but I would never play this card. If I have like 2 in these in hand, oh, Sakazuki's trashing one every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I personally, if I were to make this deck, I would run one of maybe 2, because I mean that trigger is insane.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a draw 2 trigger. Yeah, it's a draw 2 trigger. I mean, I don't think you'd ever want to legitimately play it from hand, because, yeah, drawing 1 card and then sending a 5 or less back to hand, or a 6 or less back to hand if you're Sakazuki. But like, I think the trigger is just the trigger. It's like a peel-off trigger, and a peel-off trigger is really strong. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, as I've definitely got more competitive with One Piece trading card game, one ofs are pretty insane, because if you get them at the right moment and your opponent is not, you know, accounting for that card, and even just running one of, but you see it at the right time, it's a game changer. So I mean, personally, I would run one of these.
And last but not least, we have one of our 2 secret rares for this set. This is going to be another 10-12 Kaido in blue, now 2 sets in a row. This one's just going to read on play. If the opponent's life is at 3 or less, draw 4 cards. Draw 4.
Wait, is that right? 4? Damn, that's a lot of cards. That is a lot. That is a lot.
That is a quantum shit ton of cards. Also, if you're playing a 10 cost card, I would hope you have your opponent down to at least 3 already. So this basically reads just draw 4. I don't even know why they did the little you need 3 or less life on your opponent. I doubt they would ever have more coming on to 10 Dawn.
Yeah, I mean, luckily it's a 10 drop with 12k power, right? So we're seeing it's a big body, no counter, which is fine because this card is already way too powerful for it to have another use. I would run this card. This card is pretty good.
Yeah, I'd probably run a 1 of or 2 of, but I feel like the OP04 Kaido is better in a cost reduction, like a black-blue deck, because you can send an 8 and 3 back, or technically a 9 and 3, or an 8 and 4. So like, I mean, this card's good. You drop like 1 of on a turn, you're safe. Like it's a 10-12, you're drawing 4 cards. Like I would not say that's a bad fucking card at all.
Listen, all I'm saying is Beast Pirates Nami is on the come up. with that Hawkins card, this card, holy.
True. That is very true.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, because that Hawkins card, you block with it, draw, then you save it, and now you can do it again the next turn.
Yep. Hey, Nami players, I'm looking at you.
Stocks are going up. Start buying all tarts. You never know.
You're not running this in Nami. There's no way.
All right, Pirates, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you to Jim. Thank you to Fupid for being here. And I myself, we had a wonderful time breaking these cards down with you guys. I appreciate all the support you guys have been showing. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. We upload daily. Do not miss a video. Like this video and comment down below what your favorite blue card was and what you're going to run for OP05. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.